Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Eurowatch, the single greatest podcast on the summer's upcoming European Championships. Alex and I are going to take a bit of a different route on this episode. We're going to talk a little bit about the teams that are going to be playing these Qatar qualifiers. A lot of the European teams are well represented. We're going to go over a few things. We're going to talk about the controversial call-ups to the French national team. Going to talk a little bit about why Spain might be on its path back, revisit Italy and all the good things Roberto Mancini is doing, and talk about why there's a little bit of Jesse Lingard in all of us. Alex, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm preparing to swear a lot about the England side and the Netherlands side. You said that the French side is one. You think there's controversial call-ups. But I've got lots of words written about Frank de Boer and Gareth Southgate. So I'm looking forward to them.
Okay, we'll start off where we left off on last week's pod. Obviously, we were joined by Jake Smalley of Get Italian Football News. Go check that podcast out after this when you get the time. And we'll talk about Italy. And Roberto Mancini has named a 38-man squad to play Bulgaria and Lithuania, as well as Northern Ireland in these World Cup qualifiers. A lot of the people we talked about, Alex, are in the team. Are you surprised at all?
I'm not too surprised, although I think I was a little surprised by some people left out. I mean, I've gone off the... I'm not sure if there's an official squad list to get from, but I've gone off their Twitter announcement and the squad sheet they tweeted. And there was no Romagnoli, no Jorginho, no Tonali, no Calabria. 3 of those players are from AC Milan, so... Has Roberto Mancini got an AC Milan agenda? That is what I'm here to figure out today.
That's definitely that on the air. I think Romagnoli and Tonali were automatically out, given how their injuries didn't even let them play against Manchester United in the Europa League fixture, and that's largely why they're there. With Jorginho, it's tough to say. I think he might have a bit of a niggling injury, obviously. In this last match against Southampton that Chelsea played, they started off with Billy Gilmore and Mateo Kovacic.
So, what, today against Sheffield?
Yeah.
Maybe. I maybe Jorginho's left out as well in terms of maybe Mancini knows what he's getting from him, and instead he wants to drop him for these games and try out the midfielder Locatelli, Ricci, Cristante.
Roberto Soriano, Mario. There are a few surprising calls for Matteo Pessina and for Rafael Toloi of Atalanta. Great to see that. But, you got a little bit of mix of the old and the new. Bonucci, Chiellini, obviously there. But Acerbi of Lazio, we lavished praise on him. He's there. Alessandro Florenzi is there. Gianluca Mancini of Roma is also there. And, heading into midfield, you got a lot of young blood. You got Nicolo Barella, who, Jake waxed lyrical about. And it's not surprising to see him there. Manuel Locatelli, as you mentioned, Lorenzo Pellegrini, and Marco Verratti. And up front, they've got a lot of attacking firepower. Domenico Berardi, Ciro Immobile, Lorenzo Insigne. Stefan Al-Sharawi, maybe a bit of a controversial choice, but
I thought
we'll
that
see.
As well. I thought
and the best news for you is Moise Kean.
Oh yeah, right? I know. Big up Ken. Big up Moise Kean. Well, we'll have to see how he does. I mean, I will admit to you, Ritik, I haven't got the teams they're meant to play in front of me. So do you know who Italy are meant to play in these qualifiers?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, they start their campaign at home to Northern Ireland in Parma. Then they play Bulgaria in Sofia in Bulgaria. And I think they play Lithuania 3 days later. Now, just as not a disclaimer, but just as a note to all the listeners, these teams are not who are going to go to the Euros. I think far from it. You're getting into the business end of the season. People are likely to pick up injuries. So this is a very good experiment to see how all these players will gel. They haven't played together for a while. Obviously, COVID restrictions have prevented a lot of stuff from happening as well. So this is where all the greatest managers will tinker and tinker with their sides, put people in certain positions where it suits the tactics more than it might suit the players. And you see Bulgaria, Northern Ireland, Lithuania. These aren't really very strong teams. So it provides good fodder for the Italian stallions to really start putting their names on the sheet and putting their names into Mancini's mind front
Yeah.
and center.
Yeah, I mean, before we move on to the other teams, there's just a couple of things as well. From the other teams in Group A I wanted to hit on, it's interesting that Leicester loanee Cengzunder, he's missed out from the Turkish team. I'm not too sure if there is an injury there, but it's quite glaring to see him out, whereas Yusuf and 35-year-old Burak Yilmaz is back in the side. And also, Ritik, we touched on the last news one, if any keen listeners remember that Ryan Giggs is still out on bail, so he wasn't actually allowed to pick the Welsh team for their qualifiers. But the Robert Page, the assistant coach, noted that he helped, which I found quite funny, that the head coach had to help pick the first team, didn't get the final say. But that's something I want to throw in there. Do you want to move on to the next team you've got in?
Yeah, a little bit of surprise from Spain squad. Now, as a lot of Chelsea fans, I'm assuming there are a fair few who listen to this podcast. No Kepa Arrizabalaga because he really just hasn't played club football. But Sanchez is in there. Sanchez is it's very weird to see. Obviously, we don't talk too much about goalkeepers with very much gusto here, especially like people who are second choice.
Oh, he's just a
or
Brighton
third
keeper.
choice. Huh?
Yes,
This is Robert Lynch Sanchez of Brighton and Hove Albion.
Oh!
He's the third keeper. De Gea is obviously going to stop between the sticks because despite not having played for United these last couple of games, he's just had a daughter. He still seems the best. He still seems the best option
Most
for
reliable.
Spain. Huh?
Most reliable, I'd say.
I would say, and Luis Enrique has, to his credit, he backs the players who are under fire. When they do well, he reminds everybody, yes, this is why I've picked them. But, moving on there's a call-up for young Pedri of Barcelona. He's been pretty solid in this resurgence that they've had since the turn of the year under Ronald Koeman. It's going to be fascinating to see him. There are also the people like Marcus Llorente, who I think sold his soul to the devil to send Liverpool to the shadow realm in last year's Champions League qualifiers, because I really don't know how much he's done since then.
He's been actually really crucial, Marcus Llorente. I've taken a close eye on him at Atletico Madrid. He's pretty vital to the way Simeone plays, as it's sort of a hybrid midfielder / right wing back. He's kicked on, not necessarily in terms of goals, assists or anything like that. Well, I think he's quite decent for assists, but he's doing well there. So it's nice to see him there. Another player I want is as well, any City fans that are listening, all two of you. Pedro Porro, the player on loan from your club, has been called up to the Spanish side. I think he's a 20-year-old right-back playing in the Portuguese league. Haven't got the numbers in front of me, but I know he's having a really, really good season there. He'll probably be in contention.
With the absence of Dani Carvajal, it's there's a bit of a hole in that spot for them.
And the absence of Bellerin as well.
Huh?
Absence of Hector Bellerin as well.
Well... Is it really an absence? What are they really missing out? Surprise callback up for Jordi Alba. Him and Luis Enrique have been on the fritz since Luis Enrique took the reins. You had people like Nacho Monreal and Sergio Reguilon, starting ahead of him, and is a little surprising not to see Reguilon, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, I agreed as well. I think it's a big miss because he's never done bad at Tottenham. Tottenham are in and out of form, but he's always been really solid.
Yeah, it's hard to see that sometimes, but it's what it is. It's what it is.
Did you see who Spain called up at centre back, Chloe?
Well, they have Ramos, they have Inigo Martinez. I think they have called up Eric Garcia.
They have called up Eric Garcia,
who's played virtually nothing since the year. Is there this like flagrant bias for him? Is there something Enrique is seeing that we don't?
It must be, because Spain have absolutely, even Barcelona, right? They love him to bits. They want him in, and he was okay at City last season when he was playing. He was doing alright, but to call him up for this over, there's other players who've missed out in here, like Dani Ceballos. He's not in the team. Sergio Roberto.
Yeah, let's. I think it's better if Dani Ceballos isn't there. Let's
No, he's a solid player. I mean, he's not like I, I don't know. Obviously, he's not on the level of Busquets, Thiago, or like Rodri at the moment, but
yeah.
he's arguable in there. Also, it's interesting that Leeds forward Rodrigo is not in the side when he previously probably would have been. So he's clearly dropped off in the Premier
Yeah,
League.
even yeah, especially on Premier League form, it's hard to see him there. One exclusion I was really surprised by was Nacho, Real Madrid's ever reliable substitute who
Yeah,
has been playing a lot, especially alongside Rafa Varane. He's had a very good run of form, played decently in Celta. And it's sad not to see him there either as a right back backup or a centre back. They're playing Pedro Pero at right back. But then again, these are just qualifiers. There is a possibility that Enrique says, okay, I'm going to try different people out.
yeah.
This is an easier opposition to blood in someone like Pedri or someone like Pero who doesn't have the national team experience, because chucking them on into a European championship fixtures without any preparation or chemistry built is hard. So I think that's what it is. I don't think they should take exclusions from these games too much to heart. But it's always nice to represent your country, and when your name's not on the team
I think
sheet,
it matters on the age though, right? Because like you said, with Nacho, I think they know exactly what they're getting. Like he's not someone who has to establish himself in the side. Like him being left out is more of just, look, you're probably going to come to the Euros in the summer. We're just like, we want to try out a couple of players in case you get injured. I think it's the players who are a bit more like a Danny Ceballos sort of thing, who's yet to establish himself. Like him not being put in is pretty clear, saying you're not coming to the Euros in the summer because we're not trying you out now, and it's not as if we're gonna go all of a sudden go, yep, no, yeah, you're the one we want to call back.
I don't think either Arsenal or Real Madrid particularly see him in their plans going ahead, and it's maybe hard to see that way.
What
But
about Marcus Asensio? He's also out, and he
Marcus
has
Asensio's
come.
out.
Yeah, and he has come back. It's not as if he's injured because he's played recently for Madrid, so that's interesting to note as well.
Yeah, it's. I think what's happening is Enrique is moving to this new team is going to be fully in my image, and
Yeah,
he's
possibly.
really stamping his authority. He was out because the tragic accident that happened to his daughter, and then he came back in, and
Mm.
it's been very hard to get an accurate assessment because it's not easy for these national team managers to travel during COVID, because wherever they have to go, they probably have to isolate, do something else, and there are Spanish players outside of Spain who some specialized need to be keep on there. Like Rodri of Manchester City is in the team. Good to see that. I like seeing Premier League players in national teams. It gives. I touched upon this in the England episodes. It's nice to see players playing outside their league. It gives them an extra dimension, which comes in useful in these tournaments. But going on from Spain, I wanted to just segue a bit when we're talking about France, because
Okay.
before I get to the tasty bits or the slightly controversial parts, I want to tell the listeners about their under 21 team.
Go on.
They have they have Nantes' Alban Lafont, first choice goalkeeper for Nantes, starting between the sticks. They have Jules Condé and Ibrahim Konate. These are people who start in the upper echelons for Sevilla and RB Leipzig. They've got Dagba at right back, Badia Shiel of Monaco at left back, a real underrated star in this La Liga. They've got Eduardo Camavinga, Hasemua, and Fiverr in midfield. And up front, they've got Edouard, Guerri, and Diaby. And this is just an insane lineup. And this is a lineup I feel that could maybe even get out of the group stage of the senior
Get out of
Euros.
they'd reached the quarterfinals of the actual Euros. Their under 21s are
It's
stupid.
insanity how deep they are. It's
Yeah.
really, really insane. Like, I could see Konde and Konate getting senior team call-ups. That good. Camavinga probably deserves one as well. It just shows you how stacked they are. And, going to that stacked sense, you look at the national team, and Ousmane Dembele's got his first call-up in 2 months. 2 years, sorry. And I don't get it. I still don't get it. I watch Barcelona. I see him playing. I just don't see where his name value is coming from. Yes, he's been more fit than he usually was, but my God, I was really just annoyed to see him there.
I think there's a couple of like contentious ones as well as him. I think Teo Hernandez missing out, the left back for AC Milan, who's had a great season by all accounts. Him missing out to Luca Hernandez, and Ferland Mendy, I think it's really harsh.
It is
And obviously,
really harsh. He's named a thinner squad as well.
Sorry.
It's a slightly thinner squad he's named as well. It's maybe an experimentation because Anthony Martial has conned his way into this team. I know Deschamps likes him, but Anthony Martial has been outplayed by Jesse Lingard, who we'll touch upon a little later, who had to leave United because he wasn't getting opportunities, and he's firing up for West Ham. And Anthony Martial is abject performance after disappointing foray, and he's in the team for some reason, and it just makes me feel a little dirty. And I'm a United fan, and I just don't see why he's there. Adrian Rabiot, Juventus have been doing very poorly. Their midfield has been really, really abhorrent. Not being able to release the ball to their forwards, especially Ronaldo, who's completely starved of good chances. And Clement Lenglet of Barcelona. I mean, I could see Konate or Koundé really taking his spot in there. Good news is people like Leo Dubois are getting the recognition they deserve.
Bad news is Steven Mandanda is still getting recognition he doesn't deserve.
Oh my God, he's still there. Mike Maignan, great to see him.
Yeah,
great to see him.
Good. And Areola.
And Alphonse Areola, Fulham's man between the sticks. I think Areola will get a game. Areola will definitely get a game. There's no way he plays Hugo Lloris in all these 3 games. But you also see people like Olivier Giroud, Deschamps tried and tested option up front. But I wanted to talk just a bit about one of the things that's said by a man who Deschamps has arguably said can succeed him as a French national team manager, and that's Zinedine Zidane. And Zidane has again brought up the issue of Benzema. Deschamps has clearly said he doesn't want that divisive presence in his team. And they have Giroud, who plays well for them. They have Griezmann, who plays well for them. They won the World Cup without him. But Benzema is on some unreal form right now for Real Madrid. He doesn't get any support either from Asensio, from Vinicius. He's not getting the balls in. He's not getting the support. Yet he's scoring goal after goal after goal after goal in a crucial period where Real Madrid have not been doing well. Karim Benzema is standing head and shoulders above the others. And Zidane has said, it's better he stays with us. But Zidane really thinks he deserves it. He says, you don't understand it. I don't understand it. There are many people who don't. And for me as a Real Madrid coach, it's better he stays with us. That's for sure. What he did today with his teammates was spectacular, referring to Celta Vigo. He's hardworking and he wants more. And it's really funny because, yes, they've won the World Cup without him. They've proved they don't need Benzema. But seeing a player of Benzema's caliber, not playing any international football makes you hold your head and wonder.
Yeah. It's like Eric Laporte as well, also missing out. He came so close last season to getting a cap, and then he missed out. It looks like he's not getting that cap anytime soon. It's pretty crazy.
I think once Didier Deschamps leaves, which I honestly think if they win the Euros might happen.
Yeah,
he has
probably.
Nothing else to prove. He's had a nice decade-long run at the helm of the French national team. He might just leave and Zidane might come in, and people like Laporte definitely should be knocking at the door. Lenglet, Umtiti, these are people who've maybe overstayed their welcome in the team.
That's very possible.
I don't see them starting. Umtiti probably sold his soul to the devil for that World Cup. He's been horrible ever since. Injury ridden, form ridden. He's been horrible. So, that's where I want to talk about France. But also on a good point, I like seeing Moussa Sissoko and Tanguy Ndombele back in the team. Tanguy Ndombele, despite Tottenham's stuttering form right now, well, that's putting it lightly. I really, really, really like Tanguy Ndombele. And I think
fair.
That double pivot like butter on bread. Like seeing Tanguy Ndombele, N'Golo Kante, and Paul Pogba. Imagine those 3 running at you with Moussa Sissoko warming up on the bench. That's a midfield that anybody would be scared of.
I mean, Sissoko's a bit less scary, but I get you. But okay.
Hey, he performs for the national team. That's all I'm going to say.
That's fair. All right. shall we move on? It's 20 minutes in, so shall we move on to one of the bitier topics?
Yes, let's move on to the Three Lions.
Alright. Here we go. So I'm gonna, Ritik, I know you've read it, but I'm gonna go through, and the listeners, gonna go through the squad one by one. Dean Henderson, yeah, that's fair. Sam Johnston, that's fair enough. Nick Pope, I get that. Ben Chilwell, absolutely. Connor Cody, why the fuck is he there? I'm sorry, but Wolves have been shocking this season.
He's been shocking.
Cody's been okay in a decent team, but Michael Keane absolutely deserves to be in this side. He's been fantastic for Everton. And if you're not going to drop Connor Cody, drop Eric Dyer! Why is this man here? Why is this man in the team? For goodness sake, it's just like he's been so dreadful for Tottenham.
I know. The listeners will be very used to Alex and I, surgically taking down, points and analyzing teams with the aplomb of all the stats with us. But good God, there is no way that Eric Dyer should be in there.
Absolutely not.
It pains my heart. It pains my heart to see him still there. Even you see an under 21 player like Ben Godfrey alongside Michael Keane. This is a guy who is just been thrown in centre back for Everton, and Everton are in the top 6. He's doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And, he really deserves the chance to prove his place. And then you have people.
I'll take it. This is my moment.
This is yours. All right.
Okay, right. So Reece James, well deserved. He has been pretty solid for Chelsea. He's dropped off a little bit, but he deserves to still be in and around the team. But Kieran Trippier, 3 months without football, and he's in over Trent Alexander-Arnold. You have to be joking with me, Gareth Southgate. Are you married to him?
Let's not sugarcoat it. He's had a very shit year.
But Trippier, I get Trippier's like Gareth Southgate's little soldier. I get that, and I get he's like Mason, that he will do the dirty work. But he's been without football for 3 months. I don't understand why you're picking him in over Trent Alexander-Arnold, who has played, and yes, he's in and out of form, but it sends a complete wrong message. It just basically means Trippier could not be more undroppable at this point. He could not be. He could lose his leg, and he'd still be in this bloody team for his personality and work rate.
Even more for everyone. Aaron Wan-Bissaka has created the most chances out of any right back in the Premier League. He's played the most minutes. He has the best tackle ratio of any player in the Premier League in terms of successful tackles. He has more goals. He has 3 goals this Premier League season. That's equal to any other right back. And he just never gets a call up. And it boils my blood because England have so much good talent in attack. Much better than, what he has to deal with at United, where he has just Mason Greenwood and Reece James ahead of him. He can play so much better with better caliber right wingers in front of him, who England do have. And I did tell whisper.
Ritik was telling me this. I said him as well. It comes as a surprise that if anyone doesn't know, he has chosen to play for Democratic Republic of Congo. So he's out now. I'm pretty certain. I don't think Southgate could.
I don't think he has.
I remember seeing it. I'm pretty certain now. I'm not sure if he's made an appearance yet, but
no. I think the last one is he was set to snub, or they're still chasing him, and he's hinted at it. But I don't think it is. Oh. I don't know if there's been a definitive shout either way. I don't think he's announced it. He should, but it's
anyway.
It's such a problem of plenty. Yeah, let's move on. Let's move on.
Let me continue with my rant. Let me continue. Right, so Jude Bellingham,
very.
He's been okay for Dortmund, but he's not been worthy, I'd say, of a call up. Phil Foden, absolutely well done, good pick. Jesse Lingard, yeah.
I'll get on to him later. We can move on.
We'll get into this.
I'll get on to him later.
I want to finish my rant. Jesse Lingard, yeah, fair enough. I think he's deserved it. Mason Mount, agreed. Calvin Phillips, agreed. Declan Rice, agreed. It sounds like it's going well, Southgate. You're doing a good job. Then we get on to James Ward-Prowse. Why are you in this team?
It's because Southgate wants to play with 3 at the back, with 2 defensive fullbacks, 2 defensive midfielders, where the only goals can come from a James Ward-Prowse set piece. That's the only reason he's there. Oriol Romeo has been far and away the better midfielder for Southampton.
So uninspiring to see James Ward-Prowse in this team. It's so genuinely uninspiring. And I get Maddison's out of injury, but still, that midfield, like you were just hinting at, Phil Foden's probably going to play at the wing or something. Mason Mount will probably do the same. It's going to be five at the back, and when it is, I'm losing this special episode of Eurowatch. Now the attackers, before I hand it to you, the attackers: Calvert-Lewin, Kane, Rashford, Saka, Sterling, Watkins. That's fair enough. But let's talk about again who's missed out. Mason Greenwood has put in a shift for United, and I think he deserves to have been in a call-up.
He just doesn't have the numbers. I'm his biggest fan. He scored a good goal versus Leicester today. He's double-footed, but he's been called up for the under-21 team, which I think is the right decision.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Because though he is playing senior football, and this is where England are finally getting their under-21s right. They're playing people in the under-21s who are playing first-team football. I cannot emphasize how good their youth level setup has been. They've performed well. They've reached finals. They've won tournaments. And England's under-21 setup looks great, and it's a great place for Mason Greenwood to really get some leadership chops and really just show everybody. I've had a bad sophomore season, but I was great before that, and I can be great again, and I will be great again.
Someone who shouldn't be there and should be in the first team, in my opinion, is Callum Hudson-Odoi, because he's played as a right wing back really well under Thomas Tuchel, and he's played as an attacking one. And it would have been so inspiring to see Gareth Southgate say, okay, Trippier, we're going to leave you out, or Trent as well, and we're going to play Callum Hudson-Odoi here. He's playing this position sort of for Chelsea. Be really interested to see what he can do, especially taking to the Euros, be sort of a secret weapon against a deep block. But no, we're gonna stick Kieran Trippier as a defensive fullback.
They're too stacked in the right back position. I mean, if Aaron Wan-Bissaka isn't making it in any way, shape, or form, I don't see where CHO gets it. But
I know, but it's just something you would have been there. And then
Abraham and Bamford. And Cho is there in the 23-man squad for the under-21s, and that puts me at an interesting point, because they're heading to the under-21 tournament with Callum Hudson-Odoi, Emile Smith-Rowe, Eddie Nketiah, Mason Greenwood. These are all people who play top-flight football for great teams. And you have the likes of Eberiche Eze, Tom Davies, Conor Gallagher, Curtis Jones, great midfielders, attackers, fantastic defenders, Max Aarons, Stephen Sessegnon.
But the issue with that, though, is we might win the under-21s, but I don't think an England fan's going to care about that unless we do well in the Euros, because they need to make sure they don't. There's a lot of talented players here they should be looking at still, and picking them over, say like a Kieran Trippier or someone like that. That sort of level, like there's players you can fit into this team, I think. But yeah, you're right to say the under-21s is looking strong. But do you want it to? Because we don't want to spend too long in England. You want it to?
No, I wanted to allude to one of the stories Jesse that really hits me at my heart is Jesse Lingard. He's had a torrid time. He's had a lot of family problems. He's had battles with COVID. He's had battles with COVID of people next to him in and out of the United team. And to United's credit, they said, okay, Jesse, we want you to play. It won't be with us, but someone else wants you, and it's a man who's managed you previously. It's David Moyes. And he's gone to West Ham. And he was still made fun of. West Ham fans didn't like, why the hell are we getting this guy? We'd rather stick with the geriatric Chernobyl survivor up front than we will with Jesse Lingard. And it's amazing to see how he's taken the bull by the horns. And he's doing phenomenally well. I think bar the games against Man United and Man City. Man United he was ineligible for. And Man City, West Ham still played well. He scored or assisted in every game. He scored a beautiful top corner finish today versus Arsenal, which in my opinion will go down as one of the goals of the season. He's playing with a smile. He's playing with a heart. He's still dancing at the end of the celebration. Jesse Lingard is the kind of player we wanted to be when we didn't want to be, but like that's where we saw ourselves when we were 6, 7, 8 years old, when we were coming into football, when we were really, forming our great interest about it, scoring these great goals, playing 1-2s with our teammates, dancing in our celebrations. It's those little things, and Jesse Lingard has never stopped embodying that, and he's fully earned his call back. Up to the game. He said he wanted to leave United because he wanted to get back in the England team. People laughed. He went to West Ham, and the West Ham fans and everyone else laughed. United got rid of him. They clapped their hands in glee. It's like, yeah, we don't have to rely on him anymore. Jesse Lingard has done what Jesse Lingard does best. He dances to the beat of his own drum, and I think he will be a special weapon. If you say
Fair.
if you have someone starting like it's very likely that they'll go with a starting three of either Declan Rice or Calvin Phillips, Mason Mount, and Phil Foden ahead of them. They really don't have many more options, given the injuries to
Yeah,
Madison,
yeah.
Grealish, and Henderson. And if one of them isn't doing well, if one of the strikers can't really get the head into the game, Jesse Lingard comes in, as he did so well in the World Cup, setting up ball after ball after ball for Raheem Sterling and Harry Kane. He is a different monster for England, and it would just fill my heart with joy to see him doing well.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. I appreciate the story about Lingard. But okay, do you wanna? What countries have got left? I mean, you always touch on the big ones, right? And there's Germany, the Netherlands, and I guess a little bit on Portugal. Which one did you want to hit on next?
I possibly just wanted to talk about Portugal a little bit
Yeah, go for it.
because it's a team that everybody expects. It's a team that Fernando Santos is going to say, okay, you know what, this this is probably what's going to be there for the Euros. Um, but you have interesting inclusions, and you have well
Go and
not
hit one off.
well not so interesting exclusions, but Alex will tell you a lot more about him is Renato Sanchez. Once the
Mm.
golden boy, the pivotal axis in their Euro winning team last time, completely missing for the World Cup winning team. He's back in. He's back in the fold, and it's good to see Alex. You shed a little bit more light on how he's been doing domestically as well.
I tell you what, I'm gonna have to pivot it a little bit because it's going to be unpopular opinion. I don't think he's deserved this call up because he's been out of Lille's side for the past 4 months. And let me get this
My.
straight. I think on talent level, it's great to see him in, and he has put on a great redemption story. But if for context for Lille, he's played about 50% of minutes. He's been held back from the side. It's quite interesting actually. Christophe Gaultier, the manager, said that he's had to hold Renato Sanchez back because in games he tries too hard and his muscle fibers tense up and it can cause injury. And he had two big injuries, one after the other in the middle of the season. Before that, he was playing exceptional. So he has come back to fitness, but if I was Andre Gomez, I'd be a little miffed that Sanchez is in the team. But it'd be great to see if he could prove himself because on talent alone, he is such a dynamic player. But the player I want to touch on, who's made I'm not sure if he's even made a return, but the fact he's still in there is Jose Font.
Font.
38
year old. 38.
No, 38 years old, the captain of Lille's team, as they've gone on to make their title charge. It's quite sad that they've recently lost today against Nîmes, so complete shock loss. But he's been leading the title charge as much as Burak Yilmaz. And to see him in this team, it would be absolutely brilliant. If he could start a centre-back with Pepe or Ruben Diaz, I don't think he will, but my goodness, he has been absolutely exceptional. And he's played, I think, nearly every minute of Lille's league and title charge, so 100% deserved to Font.
Moving from one age of centre back, you mentioned the other centre back is Pepe, who rolled back the years.
Yeah.
Chronological time stopper, taking Juventus to the sword. He's 38 years old as well, and he's playing like he's never played.
Did you see how many clearances he made against Juventus?
Oh man, I just had the overhead clearances. It lives rent free in my head. That's
Most players tend to make about 5-6 clearances a game. Pepe, I think even before extra time, he made 18. He was like a one-man defense. It was stupid how good he was. So it'll be great to see what him and Font can do at the back for Portugal. Portugal in their fixtures, but
yeah, and an interesting call up again for Pedro Neto, who has been one of the brighter rays of sunshine coming out of that Wolves team, which I call Portugal light. It's great to see him. I love him as a player. I would love to see him at Man United. He's playing ahead of his years. He's doing incredibly well. And
mind you, though, he's got in, and a couple of his teammates missed out. I'm not sure if Daniel Podence is injured, but Nelson Semedo's out of the side. which is
He
quite big.
is. He is out of the sight, and for some reason, Cedric Suarez is there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cedric Suarez in over Nelson Semedo. That'd be
Yeah, João
did find that.
Cancelo and Rafael Guerrero are probably going to take those fullback spots, and I think it's pretty safe to say they'll take those fullback spots into the tournament as well.
Well, Nuno Mendes has got in for left
Yes,
back,
yes.
so that's interesting. He's been getting on really well in Sporting. If anyone knows too much about it, and it's a lot about him, it'd be great to come at my Twitter and we'll find out a bit more. But
Yeah.
moving from Portugal, I'd say now. I mean, we've got. I kind of want to finish on Germany. So it's alright if we go into the Dutch team because there's one.
Go on to the Dutch team.
I mean, I think I know. Well, I'll let you kick it off with the. I think there's one glaring miss out. You might not even know it, just from the fact that of how good he is. You'd assume he's playing for another team. Do you know who's missed out up front?
Who's missed out up front?
Wout Weghorst.
Oh,
Mr.
no, we
Wout
talked about him.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, the Wolfsburg player who's recently touched 50 goals in about 3 seasons with Wolfsburg. He's got 20 this season in the league, I believe, or around 20. He's been absolutely exceptional, and he keeps getting overlooked. He's not made a Dutch cap. Frank de Boer, head of the Netherlands side, has called up Luc de Jong, who has scored 4 goals in La Liga. He's genuinely the only recognised striker. Do you know who else is up front in the Netherlands team, Rittik? Martin Stecklenburg, Tim Krul, and Ryan Babel.
Ryan Babel. Oh my God! It's like he's the wart that doesn't go away. And where on earth has Martin Stecklenburg come back from?
Well, it's interesting. I think he was literally in the abyss. He wasn't playing at all. And then Ajax's goalkeeper, Andre Onana, failed a drug test. He's out for a year. So on the final day of the transfer window, Ajax made the panic buy of Stecklenburg and have got him in. So he's now at Ajax. And for some reason, that's enough to put
The
him in
most
goal.
informed goalkeeper is one who plays in the second division of English football.
What, Tim Krul?
Yeah.
Maybe that's fair to have him in there. I'm not sure Jasper's...
Norwich are on top. I don't know how Norwich kept all those players, and I don't know how Tim Krul didn't go to a Premier League team. He is so good, so good. But you want to touch upon a few of the other ones? You know, I've seen a few names that not surprised to see, but interested to see the inclusions.
Oh, inclusions. I guess there's a couple. I mean, it's interesting that Kenny Tete from Fulham's got into the team. I found that quite interesting. Veltman's got in, though, the Brighton right back, so it's good enough for him. Gravenberch is also in the side. I think that's... he's like 18 years old for Ajax, and I know Football Oranje page I'm good friends with. They bang the Gravenberch drum, so to speak, the Ajax midfielder, but I think he's quite lucky to be in this team. But what's interesting though, we're speaking about the goalkeeper thing. I'll say no more in a sentence, but Bizot from AZ Alkmaar is really unlucky to not get into this team. Same as Drommel from FC20. But also Nathan Ake's out, and so is Sven Botman. My other little centre back. Crazy to see that he's not in the team. So yeah, fuck you, Frank de Boer.
I think Nathan Ake chose fame and fortune over playing time. I don't think he starts ahead of any of those 3 defenders right
But
now.
yeah, we were talking about playtime and why it's interesting that some players are missing out, some players aren't in different teams. Wout Weghorst missing out is pretty clear that he's not going to the Euros, and genuinely for anyone who's not interlinked with Bundesliga football, it genuinely is like England saying, well, we're not going to take Raheem Sterling to the Euros. We're actually going to take Danny Ings, but could take Raheem Sterling. No, we'll take Danny Ings. That's basically what's happened here. So, and even then, that's harsh because Danny Ings scores goals. It's a bit more like taking Andy Carroll. Genuinely, it's a bit more like taking Andy Carroll over Sterling. So yeah, I'm a bit fuming with that, and I know lots of Dutch fans are fuming with that. But the last team we'll want to touch on.
The last team is Die Mannschaft. We talked about them at length. Talked about them with Tom Fenton of Get German Football News. And obviously there were a few headlines where Lowe says he wouldn't be against calling up Hummels and Muller. Obviously didn't make the exception for Jerome Boateng. None of them are here. Will will they be in the final things? I'm not holding out
What a
hope.
pointless comment, man. Yeah, I wouldn't say no to Hubbles and Muller
But
coming in.
but
Wouldn't.
but there are some controversial choices. As people who follow both Bayern Munich and the German national team, Jamal Musiala, who played in Europe and who scored for them recently, who's just about played senior team football, has gotten a call up. He obviously chose the German national team, and Joachim Löw was like, "Well, you chose us, you're in the team," and he's actually in there. And he's in the starting. He's not in the starting. He's in the squad, blooding in some young talent really early. That's pretty good. I mean, it shows you. It shows you how creatively they might be lacking in that midfield
Yeah.
department. They're still going to rely on Tony Kroos, Joshua Kimmich, Ilkay Gundogan.
Mm.
Those three players who are going to be head and shoulders above. Leon Goretzka as well. Got good attackers. Serge Gnabry, Leroy Sané, Timo Werner. He's coming into
Yeah, he's in
form,
the team.
but
He's in the team.
yeah, Kai Havertz is also there. But there's inclusion for Amin Younes and Florian Wirtz, which is it's interesting to see. I
It's
mean,
really interesting, yeah.
yeah, Florian Wirtz is a for lack of a better term, he's a child. He's 17 years old. He's 17 years old. He's played 22 matches for Bayer Leverkusen. He scored 4 goals and 4 assists. So it's definitely warranted, and it basically shows you that the German youth don't mess around. Like they want this, and to Lowe's credit, Lowe's going like, well, you want it, you get your chance. If you fluff this up, well, I don't know how many more chances you're going to get, but that's there. And then on the other side of the spectrum, there's Amin Younes. He's 27. He's barely gotten a look in for the German national team before. Plays for Eintracht Frankfurt in the attacking midfield position, probably a little bit around. He's on loan from Napoli, and he's doing great. I think he's doing great. I think it's a different kind of winger for the German national team. You have very direct players like Goretzka and Gnabry, and Gnabry's been a little bit off the boil. If anybody
Mm.
watches Bayern Munich very closely, he's been a little bit off the boil.
Just the
But
7 goals.
yeah, just just the 7 goals. But it's good to see him. It's also good to see the likes of Robin Gosens in the
Mm.
in the defense. He's becoming a bit more of a regular fixture for them.
Yeah, well, at least one Atalanta player has been given a call up because I've got to touch on it just now, Netherlands. But we said Hatterbush, who played at right back. He's just not been called up, so big
Just not.
up, big up front of ball. But what I found was quite interesting is a couple of players to miss out with this Germany team from Dortmund. Julian Brandt and Dahoud. Neither are injured. At least I know for certain that Brandt isn't. Brandt's had a pretty solid season, and Dahoud's come back of late into form. But it's interesting to see those two miss out, actually. And
Emre Can is still getting called up. I
yeah.
don't know how this is happening. He's a subpar midfielder who's been playing as a slightly above average centre back in a
Oh,
back three
that's
at
kind.
times.
That's kind. Did you see
Emre
the
Can
errors?
is the Eric Dyer of Germany.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way to sum it up. I don't know if anyone saw his highlights against Sevilla, but by God, he's very. In fact, I'm doing a scout report at the moment on Dortmund for Man City Fan TV, and my goodness, I just have a great big red circle around Emre Can, and it just points to weak point, error prone. It's a point to it's interesting to see why he's still there, especially over Tilo Kehrer for PSG, who's played pretty well and has continuously got minutes under Pochettino. But yeah, it's quite interesting. Was there any other miss outs or anything, inclusions you wanted to touch on the different countries? I think what's interesting is that Zlatan's back for Sweden, and
Yep.
so that's going to be
4
fun
years.
for him.
Yeah, after there was buzz when Sweden qualified for the World Cup, and I'll honestly say Sweden got further as a team because Zlatan wasn't there. They had to rely more on themselves, and Zlatan coming back, it confuses me. I see why he's there. I see why he's there. I see the logic behind it. And I don't think many of the Swedish national team players will argue. He's not the aerial threat he used to be. He's great on the ground. He scores good goals. He galvanizes the team. I think as a figure of presence, it's good to have him there. And
Yeah,
maybe Zlatan might call time in his career in another 1 or 2 years, and being part of that national team setup in and around can only be a good thing. Because if there's anybody who embodies Swedish football and who knows what it takes to perform for the national team, it's Zlatan. He's been
Yeah,
doing
that's
it
fair.
for
That's fair.
solid decades, and maybe this is the way to do it, and merge the next generation after that. But we've given you a lot to think about, a lot to chew on. There'll be a lot of games to watch in the coming 2 weeks. A lot of your favorite players might play, they might not, but it'll be interesting to see who really starts to crystallize their teams coming in for the Euros. As always, it's great to have you come back and listen to us. Let us know on our socials. I'm at Ritik J Sarkar. Alex is at underscore Euro Expert. Is it
At
underscore
Euro
Euro
Expert
Expert?
underscore. There's
At
some
Euro
guy.
Expert underscore.
Someone's got the at Euro Expert. I keep trying to get it off him, but he's not giving it to
So
me.
tell us. The links will be in our description wherever you find your podcasts. Love to hear from you. Love to hear what you think. And we're going to have a lot more guests on. We're going to be building up. We're releasing episodes every week. So watch this space and keep coming back for more. As always, I've been Ritik.
And I've been Alex.